Greetings, folks, and good day. I am here at the Riverside National Cemetery in Riverside, California. I'm visiting the grave of an author who perhaps you've never heard of, Lawrence Parker. He called himself Larry. Larry was a United States Air Force veteran, served during the Vietnam era. His wife, Alice, is here. They died several years apart. Larry in 2016, Alice in 2021. Coincidentally, they both died at 77 years of age of natural causes. But Larry was a professional guy. He was an operations supervisor at the Goldstone Deep Space Communications Complex. He had aerospace training. This is a guy that was a professional level. He was a believer in the gospel. They both were. They believed in the full gospel. And the second book that Larry wrote was called No Spin Faith, Rejecting Religious Spin Doctors. It's not in print anymore. I tried to find it. It's not in print. Perhaps it'll come into print one day. But Larry talks about the way the Word of Faith movement can be and really is very deceptive, because although many of us, including myself, believe in miracles and we believe that God heals today and He does miracles today, the Word of Faith movement misleads us into thinking that God always heals everyone all the time. And I agree that God wants to heal. It's His will to heal, but He does not always heal, and that's where the main deception lies. Larry and his wife Alice learned this the hard way because in 1973 they had their son Wesley, who was a diabetic 11-year-old boy. Childhood diabetes is very dangerous and it's very fragile. And they were believing God to heal Wesley. In fact, they believed God so much that they withheld Wesley's medication from him, his insulin, and as well-meaning and well-intentioned as they were, they caused their own son's death. I'm going to show you the first book Larry wrote. We Let Our Son Die. Yeah. That's an embarrassing admission, but that's what happened. Their child's not buried here. Their child is buried in Barstow, many miles from here. But this case hit national news. It hit the headlines. It was on television. I believe it hit international news. And not only that, but the district attorney in San Bernardino County had them arrested, brought them up on involuntary murder and child endangerment charges. They were handcuffed. They were taken away to San Bernardino County Jail. They were processed. They were held at least one night, maybe 2 nights. Larry talks about it a lot in this book, We Let Our Son Die. But through this all, they were learning a very difficult lesson. They were insisting not only that they were standing on faith, they believed that once their son had died, they were waiting for him to rise from the dead, and they were praying for a resurrection, and they were holding out. They were just standing on faith that Wesley wouldn't be buried. He would rise from the dead, just like those stories you read about in the Bible. Okay, let me pick this book up. I just wanted you to see it. This entire incident and the book became a made-for-television movie in 1988 called Promised a Miracle. I'm going to put a link to that movie in the description of this video. Promised a Miracle. It's rather than read the book, you just click on the link and watch the movie. It's pretty much true, everything that's in the movie. And it has a story of their Larry and Alice's redemption and forgiveness. Have you ever did anything? Have you ever committed a sin that whether you did it in secret or whether it became public knowledge, and you thought in your heart, this is not forgivable. I mean, I can't forgive myself. God can't forgive me. My fellow man can't forgive me. Maybe you stole from someone. Maybe you betrayed someone. Maybe you betrayed a spouse or a loved one or whatever. And you're convinced that you're not forgiven. Well, look at what Larry and Alice did. I mean, they caused their own son's death. In the end, they had forgiveness from God. They also had forgiveness from one. They had forgiveness from the district attorney also. Believe it or not, they were tried. They were convicted. The judge had mercy on them. He could have sent them away for 30 plus years in prison. He gave them 5 years probation only. Now that's, wow, talk about mercy. And before the 5 years of probation was even over, I think it was 2 or less than 3 years, the judge called them into his chambers and said, I'm dismissing all charges and I am canceling your probation. This is all in answers to their prayers that God would show them where they went wrong. And if any of you think that Larry and Alice could not be forgiven, well, they were. They were forgiven by man. They were forgiven by God. Even in the Bible, I mean, God didn't always heal somebody who was sick. I mean, look, for example, at the prophet Elisha, Elisha, Elisha. In 2 Kings 13, the prophet Elisha, who did great miracles, he died of a sickness. God didn't heal him, he died of a sickness. In 2 Timothy 4, verse 20, the Apostle Paul left his friend Trophimus sick in Miletum. He just left him there sick. His associate Epaphroditus in Philippians 2:25, Epaphroditus almost died of a sickness. He was spared, but he was very sick. King Hezekiah got sick to the point of dying. There is another extreme in the Word of Faith teaching. I don't think it's characteristic so much now as it was years ago, is that medicine and medical treatment contradicts faith in God. It does not. King Hezekiah in 2 Kings 20 and Isaiah 38 became sick to the point of death, and the prophet Isaiah promised him by the word of God that he would be healed. Otherwise, he would have died. And yet, Isaiah said, prepare a cake of figs and apply it to the boil. And they did so, and Hezekiah recovered. Why bother with a cake of figs to treat a boil? I don't know exactly what Hezekiah was suffering, but it was severe enough to have killed him. And yet, they applied a medical procedure. It was something simple, like it was a natural remedy, and God healed him. So you see, there's no contradiction between medical science and God. I don't consider doctors enemies of God. I consider them allies in the fight against sickness and disease. So yeah, they did, and they turned around. So in their honor, I'm going to put 2 stones on their grave. Lawrence Parker, righteous man. Alice Parker, holy woman. I mean, it's too bad that they had to go through this in order to learn such stiff lessons. But don't despise your doctor, and don't despise medical procedures. Even if you're a person of faith. I had myself, I'm a person of faith. I believe in divine healing, but I myself could have died in 1986 from a benign tumor if I hadn't had a medical procedure and had it extracted. And I'm alive and healthy today. So rest in peace, Parkers. And I'm glad that you're both reunited with Wesley.